Okay. Okay, so we are getting set for the third part, Introduction to Integers Part 3. And this time we're focusing on comparing and ordering integers. You kind of need to know how to compare integers against each other or in a set so that you can play with them later on. It's one of the things you need to do in order to do things like create zero pairs, add, subtract. So it's always a good idea to have an idea of which quantity is bigger. And it can be a little bit tricky, but ooh, my internet, oh man, we got four people in the house right now. uh, Mrs. Newman's working from home, I'm working from home, my daughters are doing online classes from home, and our internet connection is starting to fail, so this might not turn out to be the best video. If not, send me a message so that I can figure out how to make it a little bit better. Anyways, we better do this quick. Ordering and comparing integers. First of all, let's do a quick review. If we have this sign, and this sign, these are what we call the inequality signs. So this is an equality sign. It means two things that are equal. This would be less than. You can tell it kind of makes a little bit of an L there. So that's how I always taught it. So that's your less than. This would be your greater than. And this, of course, is your equal sign. And remember, the just like you learned when you were a little kid, the Pac-Man or the alligator mouth opens up towards the value that is greater than. So if we had something like positive 5 being compared to 5, if we had something like negative 3 compared to 0, and if we had a third example of something like negative 18 compared to negative 10. So here are three examples to start off with, and our goal would be to choose one of the signs to place here. So when it comes to positive values, we can write the positive integers either with the positive sign or without the positive sign, and it means the same thing. So this one would be equal. Now, this one here, negative 3, being compared to 0, a lot of times we think of 0 as being a pretty small number. It's nothing. But in the land of integers, if we pictured where this would be on a number line, and sometimes that helps to kind of sketch it out for yourself, we could put 0 here, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3 is actually further away from the positive side than 0 is. So in this case, negative 3 is less than 0. And there we got the Pac-Man mouth, or the, you guys even know what Pac-Man is? Pac-Man was like a video game from my day. Video game. Hang on a sec. Gotta get the pen here. I'm gonna make that look like Pac-Man. There we go. Can you see that yellow in there? That's what Pac-Man used to sound. So negative 3 is less than 0. And negative 18, it looks like it's a bigger quantity because the number's bigger. But if you picture where negative 18 would be on a number line, it's actually further away from the positive side on a number line. So negative 18 is the smaller integer, and it is less than negative 10. Now let's take one of these and let's flip it around. If we change the order that this was written, and we had negative 10 being compared to negative 18, we would read this inequality just like we would a normal sentence, the way we read from left to right. So in this case, the comparison is still the same. Negative 10 is greater than negative 18, and we would use the greater than symbol. Okay, it's kind of like saying, I don't know. It's kind of like saying Chrissy is shorter than Andrea, or Andrea is taller than Chrissy. It's both the same comparison, just changing the order of the words. So that's how we could compare two. What would we do if we had a set of integers and we wanted to order them? So that's comparing them. I'm trying to make these notes fit into one page as much as we can, just in case I need to take pictures of things. I can post pictures or run off notes, things like that. Put the following in order from least to greatest. Put the following in order from least to greatest. So I'm going to give you a little tip. So if we have a set of integers and we're just going to randomize them, -5, -10, +5, +3, -11, and +7. Okay. There's a couple of steps. There's a few tips that you can do. The first thing I do when I do this is I get rid of all the positives and I put them in order from least to greatest, just like you normally would if you were counting. If all the numbers are positive, it's really easy. All you do is just count them off the way you would normally. As long as you don't make any mistakes with digits that are similar, then you should be okay. So I've got +5, +3, and +7. So in order, though, I'm going to leave a little bit of space here. I know I got 1, 2, 3 negatives that I'm going to have to deal with. So let's see if we can squish this in here. So our answer for this one, make sure it's still on the page. Make sure you tell me, okay, if I'm not writing on the page, if you can't see the notes, send me a message. Let me know if the notes aren't clear. The lighting in my room isn't the best sometimes. Today I'm sitting in the dark, just using a little bit of light from the window. So anyways, all the positive ones. So we've got 3, 5, and then 7 if we were going to count normally. I'm going to leave some space for the negatives. So +3, +5, +7. Another thing I like to do is keep track of the ones I've used. So I'm going to cross those ones off so that I don't double up on them. And now what we're going to do is we're going to look for the number that looks the biggest without the sign. And sometimes that's called the absolute value. So the absolute value of -11 is 11. And what that means is basically how far away is an integer from 0, whether it's positive or negative. And a lot of times we use these bars to mean the absolute value of, and we need that for some activities. You need it a lot in science when you look at the differences or the change in things. The absolute value of a positive number is just whatever the number is, okay? So this guy here, -5, -10, -11. The one that is actually the smallest is this one. That's the smallest one, -11. It looks the biggest, but it is furthest away from 0 on a number line. -10 is right next door, and then -5. So I'm going to make sure I got them all. -11, yeah. -10, -5, you betcha. And if we had to put those on a number line, depending on the structure of the line, sometimes you want to do 0 right in the middle. Right here, I've got -11, so that's pretty far. And then I've got -10, -5. I'm going to actually start with my smallest value so that I can use my space efficiently. -11, -10, -7 would be, whoops, I don't have -7. I have -5. So put some dots on there. That takes care of all my negatives. -4, 3, 2, -1. 0 is going to be here. I like to put 0 in as a reference point. Then we got +3, positive 5, and positive 7. So put some dots in there if you like. And this one is done to scale. Sometimes you don't need to put them exactly spaced out evenly. It depends on what the structure of the assignment is. So, kids, now it's time for assignments. So let's think about what you need to do, okay? So grab a marker here. Scary close up on my face. Scary, Renz. Ooh, man, don't have a marker there. There we go. A blue marker, yellow marker. Okay, so right now, assignment-wise, first of all, if you're not sure about what we just did, you should go back and review those 3 videos this week. I'm going to start giving out the assignments. The first one has section 4.1 on it. And that is opposites. So opposite integers. The second one is 4.2, and that has the language of integers, positive and negative numbers. The third one is a little bit of a combo. There's going to be a little bit more to it, 4.3 and 4.4. A little bit of learning for yourself to do on your own. That one has to do with comparing. So I've heard back from some of you now at this point, and I realize some of you are sharing computers at home. Some of you are having a bit of a tough time. I feel like this is a pretty decent assignment. Get yourself back on track. If you didn't finish all the data and probability assignments from before, I still want you to work on those as best as you can. But if you're looking for a fresh start, my suggestion for you is let's start these ones. They're pretty short. They're pretty tight. You will have to print them off, or you'll have to send me back a Google document with the answers, or take a picture of your work. Find some way to get them back to me. If you're having a tough time with that, I want you to email me so that you can, so I can help you out with that. Okay, I'm here to help. The other thing is that I'd like you to do this week is take a look at the. I'm going to throw this pen out. It's no good. It's no good. Take a look at iExcel. Okay, there's only a handful of you that are still working on iExcel. It's an excellent resource. It's got lots of practice. If you go to the grade 6 and the grade 7 tabs for integers, you're going to see that I've already started off topics that are related to our review. It's a great topic for us to get dialed into. It's a great way to come back into schoolwork after spring break, and you really need an excellent understanding of integers to be able to do a lot of things with patterns and relations, which is one of the things we're reviewing from Jump Math. So today there's no review lessons from Jump. I want you to get started on these. They're going to slowly be going up. I'll be giving you the due dates. You can pace yourself and just do the best you can. And please, if you have questions, email me, call the school, leave a message at the school, and I'll phone you back from home. It's going to show up as a private number, so make sure your parents answer it. It's not some telephone solicitor. It could be me, all right? So make sure you answer the phone. Find out if it's me, and then you can hang up. But don't just hang up right away or not answer if it comes up as private caller, okay? Thanks a lot, and I hope you guys have a great day, okay? I kind of miss you. Take care, and just stick to it. Stop recording.